There we go. Okay. I'm just sending a notification in my friend group Discord that I'm streaming. The chat is like super delayed. I'm not sure why that is. In terms of like it coming up on screen, that's a thing to fix later. But I'll be able to read the messages pretty quick. They just show up late on screen, which is weird. All right. Make sure notifications are working. All right, I'm going to run a test notification. Yep, but delayed. Like, the graphics aren't exactly in sync, but that's okay. I'll try it a second time. It usually warms up. Needs some warming up before it gets in sync. That's a bit better. That'll do. So notifications work. What else do I need to do? Peripherals. I don't think I've got any peripherals I need to plug in today. Got my headphones hooked up already. Yeah, guess we're ready to start. A couple minutes still. I just remembered there's one thing I need to do. I have a notebook that I write all my ideas down for Glyph in. Or, not exactly true. This is my notebook for Glyph. In it is a page on redesigning the boards, which is what we're going to be doing today. I took a photo of it and I need to send it to my computer. Just Discord messaging it to myself. Or to a second account, rather. "30 seconds. Copy image. Copy image. Okay. I'll do. All right, one last thing I gotta make sure, which is that I can get this in. Okay, I need to save this image to my computer. Okay. And then close out Discord and we're good to go. All right, so today we're working on Glyph. Glyph is a hobby project of mine. It's a board game prototype. We're not... So it already has a physical version, a, very limited in scope physical version, as well as a version in Tabletop Simulator. And then what I do is I work on updates to it to slowly work it towards being where I want it to be. The next update for it is not what we're working on. I wanted to work on the next update for it, which is going to be all about redesigning the board, the boards, and the box, how we store stuff. So that's what we're going to be doing today. If I move us over to main, we're going to be 3D modeling. The plan is to 3D print the boards and tokens, or at least the tokens. The boards I might make out of cardboard. They might be too big for my 3D printer. But yeah, so let me bring in the image that we'll be using as reference from my notebook. Oh, that's huge. Oh, that's way too big. Hold on. Can you see it well enough? Get that out of here. Okay. Crop it a bit. Nope, wrong button. There we go. Okay. So, that'll do. So how Glyph works is up at the... Wish I could show my mouse. You know what? What I'll do is I'll delete that image, and then I will just open the image up on my computer and share that window. So we'll do there. Okay. Bop, bop. Why is that not scaled right? Eek. There we go. And then I will go ahead. Flip it. There we go. Okay, now I can bring up the image. If I go to streaming assets, temporary assets, open this up. Now, hopefully I should be able to, yeah. That work, please? No? Nope. Okay. That, okay. And then I'll just switch over to monitor view. There we go. Now you can see my mouse, kind of. It's over there. Okay, so how Glyph works. This is the player board right here. So we'll have these triangle slots in them, as well as these circle slots. I'm not going to try to explain what all of this is. I think the best way to learn it would be watching a game, which I might do at some point. But right now I just kind of want to work on the board, so details don't super matter. But yeah, so it's going to have these triangle holes in them, as well as these circle holes next to the triangle holes. Down at the bottom, this is your health bar, so it's going to have a hole for 10 d6s, 10 6-sided dice. And then over on the right is going to be your shield bar, so it's going to have 2 rows or 2 columns of 10 holes for little shield tokens. And then you move those up and down to say what your shield's at. Down here, this is the enemy boards. There's going to be 3 enemies. Each of them are going to have a board. The corner bit is the same as the players, but then this section is actually detached, so it's its own piece. And on the front is just going to be a design to show where to put the creature's cards. And then on the back is going to be information like for the shop. So once you're done fighting the enemies, you go to the shop. So once you're done fighting the enemies, you take this part of their board, flip it over, and then it'll be the shop stuff on the back. So today what I want to design is this board, at least as much of it as possible. So we'll see. These are the different pieces. So this is what the d6s will be. This is what the triangles will be. This is what the shields will be. Yeah. I don't have calipers on me for like measuring stuff, which is unfortunate, but I have a ruler, so that'll be good enough. I'm going to be using Tinkercad because that seems the easiest and least processor intensive. So let's make a new design and get on it. Let's see. All right. First things first, I'm going to make the d6. Well, first things first, actually, I'll make the shield tokens, because those are going to be the things that are the trickiest to work with. If I go back to the image that I closed out of, I need to open that back up. Okay, so the shield tokens are like this bit, all these little dudes. That's probably going to be this is the part I'm going to start with, because it's going to determine the height of the board, how much space the health bar has, because we still want this kind of rectangular vibe. Basically, this is the most extreme element when it comes to influencing the outcome of the board itself. So I'm going to start with this. So shield tokens. How do we make a shield token? It is what's called a heater shield. These little guys. Except with a flat top. So this is kind of the design I'm going for. Yeah, exactly like that. So open that up. Okay, how do we go about doing this? We need... Really, if we could get like a curved triangle, that'd be huge. Not sure if that's an option. Oh, a die. Diamond, paraboloid. That's a fun word. Let's try the roof and see if we can't curvify. I know that's a technical term, curvify. It's been ages since I've used this program. Okay, looks like not. What we can do though is make this like a rectangle. I'm just gonna do what this is. So rectangle at the top, then these are circles. Looks like centered on the corners, and then cut at the bottom where they intersect, which is something that we can do. So if I actually get like a full just circle. Oh yeah, that's a cylinder, obviously. Okay. I want to center it there, which I think is a thing that you can do if I select both of them and then align. Not quite. Nope. 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 Okay. I want like, you know what I could do if I delete that? If I take this one and rotate it this way by 90 degrees. And then this way by 90 degrees. That's caps lock. There we go. Okay. Now I should be able to at least left... Oh, no, that's mirroring. Should be able to at least left align them. And that's accurate. I'd kind of like this to be split in half again, though. So that I can corner... That works. Kinda. How wide is this? This is... Where do I get the deets? Fit view to selected. Home view. Mirror. Cruise. I don't know what that means. Measure. How far from there to there? 13. Okay. So I want the U to be 16. Did I math that right? I don't know. Right now it's 20. Oh, well, you know, that'd do it too. Shift to, there we go. So 32 maybe. Okay, no clue if that worked. It's gonna be jank, but it'll be fine. How tall are we looking for? 20. So 20. Nice. Okay, now theoretically, if I select both of them and I align, that's mirror, I align to the bottom and then to the left. That's not right. 13, 26, 32. Wow, okay, I'm not mathing right. 13, 26. So I need this to be 26. And a half. Just 26, 25 and a half. 26 and a half. That'll do. That'll do. And then height, I want to be 20. Okay. Now we just need to scale it this way. Until the width is equal to the width of this bad boy. 38. 25. We're going big. Thirty-six. 37. A little more. 38. Nice. I really hope I'm mathing this right. This is getting ridiculous. right? No. Yes? Oh, gosh. Oh, man, this is getting weird. Let's see. I need you to be shortified. I need to shorten you. 20. Okay. And then I need to move it up. Until we hit there. Okay. All right, we're making some progress. Obviously. Can't you tell? It looks like a shield now. Totally. But we actually are really close, because now if I duplicate this, if that's even physically possible. A, duplicate. And then mirror on this axis. That's our shield shape. This little I want this to be flatter. I want it to almost be like a square, right? So that one and that one. And then shorten, squatify them a bit, and then pull that out. That doesn't look half bad. And then like if I cut the bottom, maybe like that. So by group. Nope. 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 Nah. Duplicate. And then merge these two. And then merge these two. It's a bit short. That might be good. Nope. Merge. Merge. That's kind of getting there. That's getting to be the shield shape. Now, how do I merge these, but only where they're intersecting? Bundle group. Union group. Ungroup. How do I cut just this shape out now? Oh, I know. If we take this, right, stick it in here. The width of this is 38. So if we make this half, 14. And then align it to this one. Let's go ahead and just group these for the moment. And then, well, so that they all move together when I align it. and then align it in this bottom left corner. Did I do my math wrong again? What's happening? 14, 38. Oh, yeah, I'm doing my math wrong. 19. It's like, why isn't that even? Okay, now what we can do is I'm going to unbundle group those. I'm going to duplicate this because I want 2 of them. So I'm going to, so like for this arc, I only want this half of it. So I'm going to select this and this and group them together to cut off the left half. And now I can do the same thing over here if I bundle group and then align there. Now I can select this one and this arc and group. Whoops. That's still bundle grouped. Ungroup that. This one and group. All right. Making progress. Now it's just trimming the top off here, which I can even just eyeball. Done. And then I wonder if I bundle group this. If I can then just trim both of those at the same time. Yep. And then, oh no, but then if I ungroup, it does that. Okay. So I'll just trim each one of these individually. Though actually, at this point, these can be merged. So I can merge all 3 of these together. Now we're talking. That's pretty shield looking. If I take, figure out what color this is, and then make this one the same color, merge them all together. I mean, it kind of looks like a pen nib right now, but that's pretty much our shape. I think I want this to be a little bit shorter. Maybe like that. No, that looks too short. Maybe I take both of the, whoa. Maybe I shorten this one here. Okay, you know what? How wide are we talking right now? $38. Okay, to make sure it's an exact cube, let's scale this bad boy to 38 by 38. Bundle group. And align these like that. Oh wow, it's actually a bit short, apparently. I think. Let's align those again. Top left. Oh, whoa. Yeah. Okay, so it actually needs to be taller. Counterintuitively. I would have thought it would have needed to be shorter. So I guess we can just also tell that by clicking on this and seeing how wide it is. Yeah, 36.5. If I just merge all this together. Nope, no. Merge these together. And then make this 38. Does that look half bad? Actually, it looks good. I like that. Looks pretty good. Maybe a bit squatter. Like if I ungroup and select this, and squatify it a bit. And then I bring this down a bit to match. I think squatify this even more. Yeah, there. And then, how's that? That's getting there. That might be it. A little bit less squat. I'm not sure why my brain's telling me that, but a little bit less squat. And then that. One tick squatter. Looks really tall. I don't want it to look tall, I want it to look square. And like technically it is square, but right now it looks tall. Oh, that might be it. That looks pretty square. Yeah, I like that. That'll do. Okay. Delete that. We have our square thingy-majigger. Cool. How big do we want it to be? That's the question now. I've got some board games over here. I've got Catan, and I've got Yahtzee. The purpose being so I can see how big the dice are, and relative to that, I think I should be able to get a good idea for how big I want these tokens to be. This is one of the Catan dice. It like feels, it's good and easy to pick up. But like 10 of these put on top of each other might be too much space. Let's see. Ruler. So these are just about 5/8 inches. So if I want a gap between them of like a 1/16 of an inch, right? Wait, no, of an 1/8 of an inch. So if they are 5/8 inch, and I want a gap of an 1/8 of an inch, then that would be, okay, hold on. How many 1/8 of inches do we want? So 5 times 10 plus the spacers in between, because there's going to be like one token and then a gap between the next one so that they don't like, so it's not like one continuous space. You like pick this up and then put it in the next slot and the next slot and the next slot. So for the gap, I'm thinking 1/8 of an inch. And if there are 10 of those, 10 slots, that's 11 gaps, I'm pretty sure. So plus 11 times 5. Or plus 11, rather. So 61/8 of an inch. 7.625 inches tall, I think. If I'm doing my math right, which probably not. 7.625, which I believe 625, it's like 5/8. Yeah. So 7 and 5/8 inches. That's not actually that bad. Oh, I'm showing you the wrong side of the ruler. That tall? I wouldn't mind a board being that tall, I think. I mean, that's where like your everything's gonna be. It does seem like a little bit big. Like I could maybe shrink it by like 1/8 of an inch. So right now if it's like roughly 5/8 inches. What if I had it instead be like 1/2 an inch? I think 1/2 an inch would still work well, and it'd be easier to math, honestly. So let's try out 1/2 an inch. So we're now talking 1/2 an inch is halves. So 10/2 plus 10/2 would be 5 inches. And then the same gap of 11 divided by 8. Thanks, AI. 11 divided by 8. So we'd be talking 6.375. 375 is probably like 2/8. No, very not. 3/8. So 6 and 3/8 inches would be about that tall. I mean, that'd be too tight, I think. I think that'd make things a bit too compact. I really didn't mind the other way. And then your tokens would be pretty obvious. It really doesn't feel like that math's right. But I guess so. 1/8 of an inch. 1/8 of an inch. An inch. 4. That math's right. Okay, we'll do that then. That makes the pieces hopefully not too weird lookingly big. But the math works out well, so we'll try that. 7.625. So each of them will be 5/8 inches. We need to make the grid settings different. Imperial 1 to 1 inches. That's actually really close, but we'll make it 10 inches by 10 inches just to give ourselves some more workspace. Okay. Now view, I want to make 5/8 inches. 0.625. And then squatify 65. All right. That's actually really cute looking. I really like that. Okay. Height is a later problem. We'll let it be the little skyscraper that it is for now. Actually, I'll shrink it down to a temporary height. I mean, I could probably actually just make it a cube. I'll make it a cube for now. Okay. Awesome. Sure doesn't look like a cube, but it technically is. Should be. If I did my math right, which I probably didn't. Anyways, all right. Now we need an army of these. So duplicate. I'm really hoping that this little pen nib bit doesn't show up when I actually go to 3D print it. Let's make sure it doesn't. Save it to desktop as test.stl. Need to rename this to Glyph board. Okay. Now I'm gonna open up. Sorry, let me get that back up for you. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, yep, whoops, that closed out everything. I guess that's just gonna have to be how it is for the moment. STL, open that up. We're gonna be using, I guess I can switch to Mondo view. We're gonna be, I use Cura, at least that's what I used to use. I might change what program I'm using. But that's just what I have installed right now. So that's what we're gonna use to see if that little line will actually be problematic or not. Hopefully not, but we shall see. While that's booting up, I sorted through, so Skylanders is a game that I played a lot as a kid, and I've been sorting through my Skylanders, and I grabbed a few that I want to put on display. It's all dragons. I want a dragon display. We got this guy. Camo, I want to say his name is. But come on, plant dragon, that's so sick. Leaf fur tail, it's awesome. And then there's actually like really nice color fading on the tail. Yeah, not sure if that's visible or not. But love this dude. This is from Spyro's Adventure specifically, which is the first game that they made. This one. So this is, I want to say, the newest version of Cinder that they made. At least they didn't make one in, this is from Swap Force. This is Cinder. The lightning bolts on the wings and the powering on the head actually glows in the dark, as does all the skull bases for Skylanders. Cinder's, I think, probably still my favorite character. Definitely was when I was a kid. I'm not sure if they, I stopped playing after Trap Team, so I'm not sure if they made another version of Cinder. But this is the newest one that I have. Robot Dragon, Drobot. Like, how can you not love a robot dragon? That's sick. And then I also have the baby version of him. This is Drobit, who's also adorable. This one's by far one of my favorites. This is High Five. I'm not sure. I want to say, so Skylanders used to do like a promotional thing with like potato chips, basically. Those like big bags of big bags of smaller snack bags of potato chips. They would do promotionals for those where like with the bag would be a code and I think you'd get a Skylander or something. I'm not entirely sure how it worked. I want to say that's how I got this one. I'm not entirely sure. So I'm not sure if this is one that you could just buy normally or if you had to do it through promotional, but one of my favorites. Dragonfly wings are so sick and it's planty. I love plants. Obviously, between my background and the border. This one is Trap Team. Is Kira booted up yet? Or is it just in the background? Still hasn't booted up yet. Let's see what Task Manager is saying. Kira. Hello? Try that again. Let's see. I think this one's name is Blades. I don't think it's their one that I've played with a lot, but dragon, so has to go in the dragon display. I love blue. Blue's one of my favorite. I think blue's probably my favorite color. Flashwing? Also really cool. Yeah, come on. Earth Crystal Dragon, that's sick. Need to clean them up though. They've got some gross brown spots. Who's left? Oh, Spyro. Of course. So, yeah, so like Skylanders, so Spyro is like its own video game series, and then Skylanders is kind of a spin-off of it, or like basically is its own. Skylanders is its complete own thing, but kind of used Spyro as the, you know, mascot to get people into it, is my understanding. That might not be the case, but I've got a Spyro, of course. This one's from Giants, which was the second game. Who's left? Zap, I think, is this one's name. Water Dragon, of course. How could you not? I love his, like, chest plate. So sick. I love the tail. Also, I love the bases for all the Skylanders. They tend to be very fun. I like the watery base. One left. That is Whirlwind, specifically Elite Whirlwind, which is this fancy one. Just in a box because it came with a box, but I take it out of the box. So, Feathered Dragon, come on. It's actually a Unicorn Dragon, which is an alicorn, I think, if we want to be specific. But, or maybe that's just a My Little Pony term. I don't actually know. Anyways, Feathered Dragon, heck yeah. So, those are all going to go into a display in my room. Because dragons. Okay. Yeah, Kira's not booting up. So I guess we're just going to have to trust this is good enough. Because by all means it should be. This is an infinitesimally small gap, I believe. So, all right, back to it. So I want to duplicate, and then I want to move it down 5/8, 6/8 of an inch down. So I'm going to move it. Actually, what I'll do is I'll take this one and I'll snap it. Oh, it actually shows you. Never mind. 6/8 of an inch down, please. 0.75 inches down, please. Okay, so that's what we'll be looking at with the gaps. Hopefully that's not too thin, 1/8 of an inch. That shouldn't be too thin, I don't think. Okay, bop and move down. Oh, no, duplicate. Now we move down. So 0.75 inches or whatever. Move down. How far are we moving it down? You know, the math here is just going to get a bit much. So let's just duplicate and keep moving by 0.75 inches. Copy that. Duplicate. Oh, sick. It just repeats it. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cool. And then if we select all of it, duplicate, and then move it to the right the same amount, 0.75. There we have it. All right, so that is I'll show this bit. That should be that part done. Looks like it. Sweet. Okay. Now, so this is going to be the height of the board, essentially, I think, unless I also put the... No, yeah, that's the health bars to the bottom. So that's going to be the height of the board. That's that determined. So let's make a cube. This can be the board, and we'll make it, just say, 1/2 inch. 1/8 of an inch. Figure this out later, but basically a flat plane. 1/4 of an inch. That'll do. Center it to the corner is where I want it to be. How put corner? Put in corner, please. Measure, cruise. I want to not do it. That didn't. Okay, but I actually want it in the other corner. Whoops. Over here. Now we're talking. Alrighty. Next up is I now want to move. I'm going to take all these and I'm going to, not that one, group them together. That way I can also stick them in there, in that corner. There we go. But these I want to be, again, 1/8 of an inch. That way. And that way. Okay. And now this, I want to be 1/8 of an inch taller than however the heck long this is. So this is currently, undo, 7 3/8 inch. So this needs to be 7 5/8 inch, because 1/8 of an inch for the top, 1/8 of an inch for the bottom. So 7 5/8 inch, please. A bit less. There we go. Cool. All right. So that's the height of the board figured out. We're gonna have one heck of a board, it looks like. Next up, health bar. So I'm gonna just keep the same dimensions of this, of 5/8 by 5/8. And we're going to make a cube. I'm gonna change this color to be duller. The idea for the cubes, for the health bar, is it'll be a D6, like I said. I'll use one of these. This was actually a test piece when I was resin casting dice. This is a perfectly, or as clear as I can make it, D6 that can be quite hard to read. I made a set of them for a white elephant gift with my friends. A set of them excluding the D10s. I don't think I got those. I didn't make enough resin. Oh well. Okay. So what it'll be is like on, yeah, no, clear's not working with that. Let's grab the Catan dice. Okay. So on this side, it'll be, I need another thing to demonstrate this. Let's pop into my drive. Nope. Tokens. All right, so over here is the health bar. So this is what the health bar will look like when it's filled. And this is what the health bar will look like when it is empty. So you'll be at like 9 health. You're at 10 health. If you take 1 damage, then you go down to 9 health, and the 10 would become grade. And then 9 would become grade, 8 would become grade. Is kind of how it's going. So what the D6s are going to be is on this side, it'll be red and white. And you'll take the die off the board, rotate it 90 degrees, and then this side will be the grayed out. And you put it back in. Take it out, flip it, this side will be red, put it back in, take it out, flip it, this side will be gray, put it back in. That's the idea for how these will work. So alternating sides between red and white and gray and black. So I guess it doesn't super matter for 3D modeling. We'll see. But first, I need to go use the restroom. So, BRB. And we're back. I'm not sure why it isn't... I want it to dim the screen. I'm not sure why it's not dimming. The, like, music overlay, I want the background to be darkened instead of completely... like, a darkened version of the screen instead of completely black. I'm not sure why it's not doing that. It's weird. Anyway, that's later problem. I will go ahead and write that down real quick, though. Hat overlay delay. A hat overlay would be pretty fun, I gotta admit. And then... okay. Save that. All right. So yeah, so this was the previous iteration of the shield bar. So you would like move this up. Oh, whoops. Yeah, you'd take this token and you'd slide it up into each slot. The left is the tens place, the right is the ones place. This will be a bit easier. This should hopefully be a bit easier. So instead, all of these are going to be like actually indents in the board, and then you'll just have two of these tokens, and you'll pick it up, move it to the next one, put it in. That's the thought. Oh. I haven't taken into account tolerances. So these are actually going to need to be shrunk a little bit when we actually go to print them, which I think works well. It feels a bit chunky to me, the pieces right now. A bit big. Right? Maybe not. Maybe so. No, actually, I want them to be that size. Okay, shoot. That opens up a whole nother can of worms. But I guess we can, like, yeah, because there needs to be some gap around the token so that it's not like an infinitely tight fit to put the token in. But how big of a gap, I do not know. I don't have any board games that use this style. The Slay the Spire board game is one that I want. And it does. This game was my first introduction to this words, to this way of doing it, where here you go. So like it's a piece of cardboard with an indent, and then you put things in the indent, right? So with HP, so yeah, the HP bar will be basically the same thing as what they have here. Oh, it is in there. It's just really small. I can't zoom in any further. Okay, but you can see, so like here's the cube, and then there's a gap around it. Just a little bit of tolerance. They don't actually use too much, actually. So I might just shrink the things, and it might still feel good. Yeah, they don't use much tolerance at all around their pieces. If I had this board game, what I'd do is I'd measure how big of a tolerance they give it. And then do that. But I love Slay the Spire. I really want this board game. I'll get it at some point. My birthday's coming up. Someone might get it for me for my birthday, but yeah, I need to get my hands on this game. Anyways, so let's design the cubes. Same deal, 5/8 inch by 5/8 inch by 5/8 inch. So let's 0.625 was 5/8. Yeah. 0.65. And then I just need the height to be 5/8. Perfect. All right. Well, that was easy. Cube designed, though in actuality, I want to round these corners, but I'm not sure if that's possible. If I can actually bevel the edges in this. Aha! What are steps? Turn that up to 20. Turn down to 0. Maybe it's like fidelity. Length, width, height, radius. Oh, now we're talking. Sick. Oh, but I'm going to be 3D printing it, and bevels don't work too well in 3D printing. At least. Vertical, because it's like layers. So it ends up looking like... the layer lines don't necessarily work all that well. So, sharp-edged corners it's going to be. Well, that was easy. Cube designed. Mission successful. Heck yeah. Let's see. Oh, unintentionally colored that blue. Perfect. That's supposed to be blue. We need space on the left here for numbers. I think what I'm going to do is just make it the same size as those guys. So I'm going to duplicate, make another one of these, and just color it like darker gray. So I think what I'll do is give the numbers the same spacing as the cube. So, no, I was so close. 6/8, 3/4, perfect. All right, so this area will be designated for the numbers. If I bring this back up. So like the numbers here on the left to show like this is the zeros, this is the ones, this is the twos, this is the threes. I'll give that the same amount of space as one of these has. That's actually, it's really handy to be able to just pull up the thing real quick. All right. And then height, let's make you, oh, you're already aligned. Perfect. Mission accomplished. I still gotta figure out, it might be very funny if I just tape a piece of paper over this area and write the numbers on it. That might be funny. I gotta decide if I want to engrave the numbers or not. Probably not. That sounds like too much effort. And we don't like effort. All right. 1/8. Perfect. Convenient that the snapping distance is 1/8. Okay, now we figure out the width of the board. That's why we're doing health next, is this determine the height of the board. This will determine the width of the board. And because the height, and because this is the most extreme, like 10 pieces, this also led to determining how big these pieces should be so as to not make the board too tall. And now that we know how big these pieces will be, we know how big these pieces will be, and so now we can figure out the horizontal. That was, you know, kind of, that's why I chose this one first, is because I knew that this would be the most extreme variable, and so it's probably the best first one to tackle. Duplicate and move 6/8 or 3/4, and then duplicate 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, I guess it's going to be the same as the height. So we're going to have a decently squarish board. But not quite completely, because it's a couple ticks longer. Whoa, something's not liking that. Oh, I thought it was lagging. No, I just wasn't clicking it. Right, apparently. All right. That needs shortened a little bit more. 1 tick, please. Oh, no. Okay, never mind. It was fine where it was at. I guess I could have controlled Z. That's okay. Alrighty. So we've got ourselves shield bar, health bar, removable area. Kind of. Let's make this black. And then our workspace for the removable area. In the case of the players, it won't be removable. But wow, that's very close to 10 inches. That's like 10 and 7/8 inches. That's creepy. All right. And then I'm figuring out where the like removable part of the board will be, like the enemies and stuff. So another 1/8 of an inch out from both of these sides is the plan. Okay. So this will be the removable section of the board. This... that might be too flimsy. I could add an 1/8 of an inch to all the sides, and I think that'll actually make things look better. Okay, let's add an 1/8 of an inch all around to like the border, the full border. So 1/8 of an inch there, 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 and there, and then 1/8 of an inch over here, and up here, and up here. Okay. How's that looking? I like that a lot better. I like how that looks a lot better. This feels a bit weird though. I'm gonna move all of these over an 1/8 of an inch to give more gap between the shields area and the healths area. See what we think about that. And then this would extend by an 1/8 of an inch. This would extend by an 1/8 of an inch. Okay. That looks versus... yeah, I like that better. Cool. All right. And now this we can shrinkify to be just a little bit taller, just so we can see the color difference. I guess actually what we can do, put it like that, duplicate, make this one a hole so that we can, when you merge one of the like this type of thing, the striped dudes, with a solid object, then it actually cuts it. There we go. So now we cut the shape out. So this will be our shields area, or so this will be our border. And then this will be the play area where you can put like cards and stuff. This will be this area. So it looks like we're going to be a lot more square than I was expecting, but that should work fine. These triangles and circles this board. These are the resources that you spend to play your cards. There's 2 blank spaces. I was thinking originally doing 2 more components, but I decided against it, so those are going to get ixnayed. Health bar, shield. Yeah, components will be next. But I think that's where I'm going to call for today. I'm really happy with the progress. This is going to be so dope. The current prototype right now, all this is printed on cardstock paper and then cut out. So it is an absolute pain to work with. Flipping over these little tiny token things made of cardstock is not fun. So I'm really hyped about getting to work on a new board design. It's gonna be so much fun. I'm hyped. But yeah. So let's move over to wrapping up. Thank y'all so much for watching. Past present or future. Thank you. I do want to stream tomorrow. I'm thinking what I'm gonna do. I'm streaming every Monday at 10. That's the plan. And then I do want to stream a second day of the out of the week, but I'm trying to decide which. I think I'm going to do Tuesday, which is a little not super spread out. It's 2 days right in a row, but we'll see how it goes. But tomorrow I'm not going to be streaming at 10. I actually have a job interview, which is super exciting. I think at 10 is I think when the interview is. But I'll be streaming sometime tomorrow. We'll see when. That's the plan. All right, have a good rest of y'all's day. And thanks so much for watching.